everyone, welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Yeshi. Here are the headlines. Nepal imposes stricter curbs as COVID-19 caseload touches unprecedented high. India shows military might, cultural diversity on its 73rd Republic Day parade. And ousted from his home in POK, refugee Malik Wasim seeks Indian government intervention. Let's begin the show. Nepal continues to set grim records as the current Omicron-driven COVID-19 wave shows no sign of a slowdown. The latest variant of the coronavirus, which has been reported in nearly 90% of the genome sequenced cases, has sounded alarm bells for the authorities. The government has taken a host of measures to flatten the curve, the latest being the odd-even vehicle rationing system. The government took the decision after a number of doctors and healthcare workers reported positive, prompting a shortage of human resources right at the front line.
The authorities in Kathmandu have scrambled to contain the overwhelming spread of the latest variant as the Himalayan nation is registering infections at an unprecedented rate in the past few days. Nearly 1 million cases have been reported in the country. This has led to the authorities extending a ban on large public gatherings in the capital and around, which is home to nearly 4 million people. As per the data released by the authorities, Nepal's daily numbers of infections are likely to double by the end of January, as the Omicron variant has been detected in approximately 87.5% of samples in gene sequencing. The number of active cases in the country surpassed 90,000 this week, with elderly being the most hit.
अहिले अब भर्ना भएको मध्ये धेरै जसो उमेर बढी भएका बिरामीहरू नै हुनुहुन्छ। अब आईसीयू को कुरा गर्दाखेरि 8 जनामा 2 जना बाहेक 6 जना चाहिँ सबै 70 वर्ष माथिका हुनुहुन्छ र 90 वर्षसम्मको पनि एडमिट भएको छ र धेरै जसो बिरामीले चाहिँ खोप लगाएको छ, कोभिड को खोप चाहिँ लगाउनु भएको छ। आईसीयू मा चाहिँ 8 जनामा चाहिँ 2 जनाले मात्र लगाउनु भएको छैन र बिरामीहरुको अवस्थाको कुरा गर्दाखेरि आईसीयू मा भर्ना भएको मध्ये 1 जना मात्र अहिले भेन्टिलेटरमा हुनुहुन्छ। त्यस बाहेक चाहिँ सबै चाहिँ अक्सिजनमा चाहिँ हुनुहुन्छ।
The latest challenge for the authorities have propped up in the form of an increasing healthcare staff contracting the infection. Several hundreds of them in capital Kathmandu and districts around are positive, triggering panic both amongst the authorities and the common people. Nepal has had a health specialist crunch for years, and the pandemic has put a further strain on the country's health system. In view of this staff shortage, the government has reduced the isolation period for the healthcare staff to 5 days. Many others have been isolated at home in order to provide more admission space to the common citizens.
More than hundreds of healthcare workers are getting infected. So once they have to go for isolations, we will not be having adequate amount of healthcare workers to take care of the patients.
In a bid to cut off the infection chain, the authorities have also decided to put even stricter curbs to prevent large gatherings. Odd-even road rationing scheme has also been brought into force in the capital.
सरकारले जुन जोरबिजोर सवारी साधनमा जोरबिजोर नियम लागू गरेको छ, यसले केही हदसम्म कोरोना नियन्त्रणमा त सहयोग पुग्ला, तर यसैलाई चाहिँ कोरोना नियन्त्रणको लागि यही चाहिँ उपयुक्त कुरा हो भनेर ठान्नु हुँदैन, किनकि यसले यो चाहिँ दिगो रूपमा जान सक्दैन। यसलाई नै सरकारले अल्टरनेटिभ उपाय चाहिँ मान्नु हुँदैन जस्तो लाग्छ। तर जनता पनि अलिकति सचेत हुने हो भने, सार्वजनिक स्थानहरुमा जाँदाखेरि मास्क लगाइदिने हो भने चाहिँ केही हदसम्म कोरोना नियन्त्रणमा सहयोग पुग्ला।
Country's vaccination drive has shown an improvement. Still, the numbers are not really encouraging as only a little over 42% of the population has received a double dose. The positivity rate of the country is hovering around 50%. Although the Omicron variant has been deemed mild by the people around the world, experts have warned people and the governments to not take it lightly, for it can prove to be really fatal in cases with comorbidities and amongst the elderly.
India celebrated its 73rd Republic Day with patriotic fervour and enthusiasm. It commemorates the date when the constitution of the country came into force in 1950. With the grand celebrations, capital New Delhi's Rajpath showcased its military prowess and cultural pageantry. The celebrations were a kaleidoscopic of the rich cultural heritage of the states and their journey towards development. The celebrations this year were special as Republic Day fell in the 75th year of independence. The occasion was observed as Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav across the country.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Ram Nath Kovind led the grand celebrations at Rajpath in New Delhi as the country celebrated its 73rd Republic Day. PM Modi paid homage to the armed forces personnel who were killed in action. The President then hosted the national flag to mark the occasion. Colorful parades at Rajpath displayed the rich cultural heritage of the country. The parade displayed the country's military prowess, tradition and culture, adhering to the social distancing norms in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. Indian Air Force performed aerobatic maneuvers with fighter aircrafts in various formations. Besides India's defense capabilities, the country's cultural diversity and rapid development was displayed through tableaux of various states and government departments. The Republic Day event was celebrated in different parts of the country. At India-Pakistan border in Punjab, the beating retreat ceremony enthralled the audiences. The drill signifies the rivalry, brotherhood and cooperation between the neighboring nations.
जब भी आते हैं तो देश प्रेम से भर जाते हैं और अपने हिंदुस्तानी होने पर बहुत गर्व महसूस होता है और 26 जनवरी के दिन जिस दिन हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना था आज यहाँ पर आकर बहुत ही ज्यादा गर्व महसूस हो रहा है।
जैसा कि हम सबको विदित है 26 जनवरी 1950 को हमारे देश का संविधान लागू हुआ और भारत पूर्ण रूप से एक गणतंत्र देश बना। हमारे देश के महान स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों के द्वारा जो संघर्ष और प्राणों की आहुति दी गई उसके कारण ही भारत को पूर्ण स्वराज मिला था। उन सब महान स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों के कारण ही आज हम सब भारतीय अपने देश में स्वतंत्रता से जी रहे हैं। इसलिए हमारी सामूहिक जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि हम आज़ादी के निहित अर्थों की अनुपालना करें तथा राष्ट्र निर्माण के प्रत्येक प्रयास में अपना समुचित योगदान दें।
India observes January 26 as its Republic Day to commemorate the day when its constitution was adopted and the country was declared a sovereign republic in 1950. Though the country won the independence from British rule on August 15, 1947, it was not until January 26, 1950 that the nation declared itself a sovereign republic state.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
Despite the coronavirus pandemic, Japan maintains order and unity. This is made possible not only by the Japanese but foreigners who have integrated themselves into the local society. Known as essential foreigners, they are indispensable partners of the natives. Muhammad Yusuf works as a nurse at Kawakita General Hospital in Suginami, Tokyo, who moved to Japan from Jakarta, Indonesia.
日本に来ていろいろ勉強していろいろ吸収して、学んだことをインドネシアに持って帰ってインドネシアの看護師に教えたいなと思 思ってるんです。日本とインドネシアの間に仕事ができればいいなと思って。
きちんとしたその対応であるとか、あとは看護を学ぶ姿勢であるとか、非常に誠実ですね。優しくて患者さんからも信頼されています。
Even living in Japan, Yusuf adheres to his religious teachings, be it the food or prayers. He studied the Japanese language and passed the national qualification exam, which was crucial to invite his family over. Nguyen Thai Mylon came to Japan from Vietnam at the end of 2008 to work for Misho, a clothing manufacturer in Tokyo. Her main job is to working on the sewing machine and iron clothes. Since coming to Japan, she has studied katakana, kanji, and hiragana every day, thinking about how she can improve on her own.
始まる時は日本語がすごく難しかった。でも私は諦めてはいかない。今は仕事はできました。日本の生活は慣れました。
A truly wonderful surprise and reward, she has passed the second grade of a private Japanese examination. Her hard work has paid off in the form of an honorable award.
日本語がすごく上手な子も上手じゃない子もいるんですね。でその中で彼女はベトナムの研修生の中の通訳みたいな形もやってます。日本人の中でも彼女はまだ年は本当に若い方なんですけど、かなり信頼が厚いです。
The difference in the customs and lifestyle here was confusing for her at first, but her Japanese and Vietnamese friends have helped her keep on. Integrated foreigners who have overcome differences in tradition and lifestyle uphold Japanese society.
Iraqi saucer players practiced ahead of a match with Iran in a World Cup Asian qualifiers match. The two countries will be competing with the other members of their group to secure a spot in the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. The Iranians lead Group A with 16 points after 6 matches, 2 points clear of South Korea and a further 8 ahead of the United Arab Emirates. The top 2 finishers in each of the Asia's qualifying groups are certain to join host Qatar at the finals, and with 4 games remaining, a win over the Iraqis would take Iran through.
The path towards decommissioning of Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station is a huge challenge. On April 13, 2021, the government of Japan announced its basic policy, based on which preparation for discharging the ALPS treated water of the plant into the sea will be started. The news received immediate and widespread international attention, and questions were raised about the safety. The authorities of nuclear and radiation risk, Jacques-Christophe Gabriel of Institute for Radiological Protection and Nuclear Safety explains, in Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station, preparation of discharging of ALPS treated water is progressing.
Japanese government took the option of discharging ALPS treated water in the sea. As I told you, probably it was the only reasonable option. What I want to say is, from my understanding, these releases will be about the same level on what they were before the accident, when Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant was operating under normal conditions. So if I just focus on this technical aspect, there will be no difference. And again, I want to focus on the issue of the societal acceptance. We are now 10 or 11 years after the accident, and clearly the main issue will be the quality of the discussion, of the exchanges between the authorities, between the operator and the population. That will be the most important point, because we need to have some kind of good societal acceptance, also to fight against all reputational images that could affect Fukushima region.
The government of Japan, TEPCO and other relevant parties are focused on making successful progress on this issue. It's a concrete step on the path of decommissioning the TEPCO's Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station.
As Thais get ready to celebrate the Lunar New Year, a dessert shop in Bangkok is doing a roaring trade by recreating items in the traditional feast like pig's head, roast duck and steamed chicken mold from coconut milk jelly. The Namjai Dessert Shop offers a box set of 9 items from a typical feast for $27, and for some customers, the price and convenience of not having to prepare a full meal has won them over. Having only started pushing out the menu from early January, Namjai co-owner Thanpaj Monstra Prasit said he has received an overwhelming number of orders from customers. Thanapaj argues his shop's mini Lunar New Year's feast is cheaper than buying or making the actual dishes themselves due to rising food costs. As with many countries, the cost of living in Thailand has been rising, with the price of many food items climbing. Lunar New Year celebrations normally means a jump in spending, but Thai consumer expenditure over the period this year could hit an 11-year low after a new COVID-19 outbreak, a survey by the Commerce University showed.
Moving on to illegally Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, where Malik Wasim, a latest victim of Pakistan's notorious agenda of carrying out a systematic democratic shift. The local administration invoked a redundant, draconian law to boot out Wasim and his family from the home they were living in for over 7 decades. He is not alone in this structured attack on the people of the region. Descendants of those who lived here before Pakistan occupied the region are constantly harassed, arrested and brutalized by the same agencies. We have a report.
Malik Wasim is the latest victim of Pakistan's notorious agenda of carrying out a systematic demographic shift in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The local administration evoked a redundant draconian law to boot out Wasim and his family from the home they were living in for over 7 decades. He was even arrested and put behind bars. A pre-arrest video of Wasim, which has gone viral on social media, he is seen expressing his ordeal. He also said that he was considering giving up his life after his repeated badgering by the police. He also urged the government of India to rescue his family and others who were suffering at the hands of the barbaric regime.
ये पुलिस इंतजामिया ने हमारा घर सील कर दिया है। मैं यहाँ पे अपने हैसियत से, इस हैसियत से मैं ऐलान करता हूँ, मैं ये ऐलान करता हूँ कि फौरी तौर पे कमिश्नर मुजफ्फराबाद, कुछ भी हुआ ये बच्चे मेरे बैठे हुए हैं, ठीक है। मैं खुद फौजी करने जा रहा हूँ, कमिश्नर मुजफ्फराबाद, तहसीलदार मुजफ्फराबाद जिम्मेदार है, या मैं फिल फौर हमारा घर खोलें, अदरवाइज हमें हिंदुस्तान इंडिया से मदद करते हैं। हम मोदी से मदद तलब कर रहे हैं कि आओ और इनको सीधा करो, ये रकबे तुम्हारे हैं मोदी, ये सिखों के गैर मुस्लिमों के रकबे हैं, किसी के बाप के नहीं है, ठीक है, ना पुलिस के ना किसी और के, गैर मुस्लिमों के रकबे, गैर मुस्लिम आए। हम अपील करते हैं हिंदुस्तानी गवर्नमेंट से कि खुदारा नरेंद्र मोदी आओ और इस जुल्म से यहाँ निजात दिलाओ लोगों को, जहाँ तुम्हारे रकबे, तुम्हारे विरासत में रकबे मिले हुए, ये लोगों को आके बदमाशी करते हैं, ठीक है। आज इन्होंने हमें पे दखल किया है, इस वक्त मेरे बच्चों को घर से निकाला है, बरसती बारिश में मैं रोड पे बैठा हुआ हूँ।
Wasim is not alone in this structured attack on the people of the region. Descendants of those who lived here before Pakistan occupied the region are constantly harassed, arrested and brutalized by the same agencies that protect them in documents. Those who do not toe the line of Islamabad also meet the same fate. Hundreds of them have been forced to flee their homes to prevent this persecution. Many hundred others were evicted forcefully. Kashmiri activists call out the narrative Pakistan tries to peddle in the international community and say Kashmiri under Pakistani occupation are being wiped out with genocidal intent. Only those who are potential cannon fodder or force multiplier to its lie get to live in peace.
After all, for God's sake, we are Indian citizens living under the occupation of Pakistan. Legally, By default, we are Indian citizens. We are living in a bloody prison camp. पूरा POJ के एक prison camp है जिसमें हम रह रहे हैं. हम तो जंगी कैदी हैं. पूरा POJ के एक गैरिजन इलाका बना दिया. हर तरफ बाड़ लगी है, हर तरफ चेक पोस्ट पॉइंट्स बनाए हुए हैं इन्होंने. कोई इधर से उधर टस से मस नहीं हो सकता. इनकी जो है वो फुल बदमाशी चल रही है.
Pakistan's atrocities on Kashmiris are neither new nor unprecedented. The global community is well aware of their sufferings. However, it has dragged its feet when it comes to speaking for their justice. Despite gathering huge traction among the powerful countries at the individual level, the lawmakers have failed to take any action against Islamabad, which has either been complicit or culpable in all crimes against Kashmiris. Reasons are unknown, but the prolonged international silence might just be a signal from the world community that they do not care about the human rights of Kashmiris that are being trampled upon on an everyday basis by Pakistan.
Next, we move on to Jammu and Kashmir, where the administration is eyeing eco-tourism promotion. As the territory's beautiful mountainous landscapes and lush green forest have always enticed tourists, Forest Department has started a special training program for its employees to improve their hospitality skills and provide the best of services to visitors. Have a look.
The COVID-19 pandemic has led many city dwellers to flock to rural areas to self-isolate around nature. This migration has come up as an opportunity for hilly areas to give boost to eco-tourism. And the Forest Department of Jammu and Kashmir is fully utilizing it. From identifying various spots to developing new trekking routes, the department is making every effort to promote eco-tourism. In a recent initiative, it organized a special training program for its employees to cater to the demand of the tourists visiting the forest rest houses. Held under the supervision of the Institute of Hotel Management or IHM Srinagar, the program is aimed at imparting a basic skill set to hospitality staff of the Forest Department.
हमारे डिपार्टमेंट ने काफ़ी सारे जो फॉरेस्ट रेस्ट हाउस बनाए हुए उसमें स्टाफ को यहाँ भेजा इको टूरिज़म के लिए, ताकि जिस तरह टूरिज़म डिपार्टमेंट पे लोगों को हेल्प मिल रही है, जो गेस्ट्स जा रहे हैं उनको हेल्प मिल रही है, फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट भी चाहता है कि हमारे हार्ट्स में भी वैसा होना चाहिए. जिस तरह वहाँ पे हमारे अच्छे फॉरेस्ट रेस्ट हाउस जो हैं बड़े अच्छे हैं, उनमें काफ़ी पैसा लगा हुआ है हमारे डिपार्टमेंट की तरफ से, अच्छा डेकोरेशन. तो लोग प्रेफर कर रहे हैं आज की डेट में सर कि फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट के रेस्ट हाउस को ही कि में ही जाएँ, क्योंकि वो सर उसमें अच्छी फैसिलिटीज़ हैं. तो इसलिए डिपार्टमेंट ने भी हमें यहाँ सर भेजा, हम ट्रेनिंग करके यहाँ से वापस जाएंगे.
The training session covered both theory and practical classes. Besides upgrading the skill set of the forest staff in the area of housekeeping, catering and front office management, the training also covered culinary skills, including confectionaries and other local delicacies. From giving tips on chopping, peeling and grating to making the proper use of spices, attention was paid on every minute detail so that tourists can avail the best of services.
देखिए, फॉरेस्ट जो डिपार्टमेंट के लोग आए हैं, दे आर वॉचमैन्स एंड गार्ड्स, तो दे आर टेकिंग केयर ऑफ गेस्ट हाउस. तो गेस्ट हाउस में जो ट्रेनिंग ये ले रहे हैं, वहाँ पे जो गेस्ट हाउस में ये वहाँ पे गेस्ट आ रहे हैं, उनको ये सूटेबिलिटी और उनको जो बेस्ट कंफर्ट दे सकते हैं वो तब दे सकते हैं जब इनको एक ट्रेनिंग मिल जाए. हाउ टू द प्रोसेस ऑफ बेड मेकिंग एंड हाउ टू लर्न अबाउट नॉर्मल कुकिंग प्रोसीजर्स. तो इन सब से क्या होगा, दे आर वेल वर्ज, पर ये सीखने से ये अपडेटेड हो जाएंगे, और अपडेटेड होने से क्या होगा, कोई भी गेस्ट आएगा उसकी कंफर्टेबिलिटी लेवल हाई हो जाएगी, उसको अच्छा लगेगा वहाँ पे स्टे करना.
The training session was also conducted in view of the recent decision of the Forest Department to open the forest rest houses for tourists. These houses will soon be made available to the visitors through online booking giving impetus to ecotourism. At present, only 20 employees are being trained at IHM Srinagar, and slowly the other employees too will be trained. Such initiatives being made to promote ecotourism will not just glorify the offbeat destinations along with their rich culture and traditions, but also bring a revolution in the tourism industry of Jammu and Kashmir.
It's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We will be back next week at the same time. This is Yeshi signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.